So I want to talk about a level 2 that's going to be released in Darkwing Blast. It's one of the best support cards, indirect support cards that we can possibly ask for because of what it can do. Facilitate in regards to our combo and it being an interaction, which is cool. And of course, we're going to be utilizing the teleport engine, right? So that was the initial start. What are good targets with teleport for our deck? And we've explored a few, right? We've had one of the first ones, Recover, right? It's a level 1 tuner that you can summon from your deck or from your hand. And it's a double tuner, which is nice. And then we moved on to the psychic stuff, right? These were introduced. Okay, this is pretty cool. But they had little to no synergy with the deck itself because of their level. They're level 3s. You can do some pretty cool things with Chaos Ruler, assuming because like they can both be able to make Punisher with Ruler, depending if you make Ruler with Martyr Marcher or you make Ruler just by treating it as just a non-tuner. And that's pretty cool. And the fact that you can pop something, attack values, is quite nice as well. And then of course we have a Substitute Walker, because at the time before the reprints, Dawn Walker was quite expensive. So you would have to settle for this. And the only thing about this one is that it came along with like these and you did not want to play these guys. Like in theory, if you don't draw these, it's amazing. Opening up Teleport and Walker, it's fulfilled Walker's cost with basically no cost at all, because this just hurts you the cost to pitch for Dawn Walker, which is really nice. And it's a bit more versatile in the sense that if you make Speeder with Doppel, you have a level 1 to make your Shaman even if your Speeder gets negated, which is really nice. So it had its pros, but then its cons was always weighed down by having to play the Garnets, which is something you want to avoid. And then of course we came across this guy. This guy's fairly new, not that new. It's like a Ace. It's just a level 2, nothing special, just a level 2 to summon off teleport, and it has like a niche effect that if it's tributed, you can pop a card in the field, which pairs well with Stardust Synchron, which is pretty cool. In a sense, it was nice. And then of course we have the Punk package. I still didn't get Foxy too, but yeah, Punk package. It can be good, but it's a bit depleting at times because you have to discard, and you already have Walker to discard, you have Converter to discard, so it can be a bit depleting. But nonetheless, it's still an option. Can't forget the Gammas, right? The Gammas are just, you should already just consider these as a teleport target. But they're tuners, right? So I mean, there's only certain scenarios where they're valuable in the sense of making a Baron with them, right? With the Chaos Ruler. But the new level 2 is pretty cool. So basically, its name is Psychic Rover. And what it does, it's a level 2 Dark Psychic effect monster. So if this card is special summoned, you can roll a 6-sided die. And if the result is 1 or 6, destroy up to 2 cards on the field. That's crazy. So automatically, it makes Teleport insane. You just activate Teleport, summon that, roll 6-sided. It's like a Snipe Hunter in a way. If you if the result is 1 or 6, destroy up to 2 cards. Up to 2. It's not 2. It's up to 2, which is nice. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can roll a 6-sided die, and if the result is 2, 3, or 4, or 5, special. That's a bit weird the way it's worded. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck while this card summoned this way is face up in the monster zone. So you can kind of see where you're getting with it. Let me just get over it. So what that means is you can constantly keep bringing it back, and you can constantly keep popping cards, which is insane. Let's just reread it again. If this card is special summon, you can roll a 6-sided dice, and if the result is 1 or 6, destroy up to 2 cards on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can roll a 6-sided dice, and if the result is 2, 3, 4, or 5, special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck while this card is summoned this way. Is face up in the monster zone. So it's an infinite loop. As long as you can find a way to get rid of it. And of course, it can be a bit problematic because once we revive it from the graveyard, we cannot summon it from the extra deck. But it's only when it's summoned from the graveyard when we're locked and we're bound by that restriction. But if we summon it off teleport, it's okay, because then we go activate teleport, pop 2 cards, right? Okay, are they gonna negate and destroy this? Or are they just, it doesn't matter, because no matter what, you just bring them back anyways. Like if they negate with Baron, that's insane. Like being able to just go, okay, I'll go teleport, summon Psychic Grover, right? and then you go overtake, you know, and then that gets rid of the droplets, or that gets rid of forces the droplets, forces the imperm, forces the omnigate. Okay, it's fine. Overtake, bring back the rover. You see what I mean? It's just insane. It's just crazy the fact that you have that as an option now. Well, we'll have that as an option, and it's perfect. It's a little niche support that we got indirectly for this deck, which is nice. And then you can just like to unlock yourself from the bound, assuming you bring it back twice. You just tribute it for Stardust, and you just don't trigger the effect in grave, right? Because you can roll a 6-sided dice and just bring it back, right? And the good thing about that is that like top deck games are quite a bit better now, because that means any junk top deck is insane once you've already got Psychic Rover in rotation, because you just summon this, bring back Rover, Stardust effect. You'll have more than one Stardust in graveyard, and then you just tribute the Rover, right? Tribute the Rover, special Stardust, trigger Rover, bring itself back, pop 2 cards. I mean, it's all like based off luck, right? Not really luck, but just like the odds of you hitting something is not as likely, but like nonetheless, it's still the potential of being able to be that impactful, and that's insane. Like, it's a better level 2. It's a better Caligo. It's a better any levels that we would want. It's just insane of what the possibilities that you can do. Like, end phasing this is insane too. End phase. The only thing about that is that it'll get banished during the end phase, because that's a teleport. That's like just vanishes the monster you summon. So that's not that great, because that means it's out of rotation. But I don't think we would play more than one. I think one would be enough. Just the one. And then implementing other psychics, maybe like the Gammas or any of the other psychics that I mentioned earlier, you know? Yeah. And then maybe then you can just implement this guy too, Punisher. This card's cool. But yeah, I just wanted to just bring this card to you guys, because it was exciting when we first found out. Jin was like, "Oh, what the heck!" And the more we went over it, the more we read over it, we're like, "Oh, well, this is insane." And once we came to the realization, this is after the fact what we read, we're like, "Wait a second, this is not Hardwood's Return," and then we just lost it because it was insane. It was like, wow, and it just works works perfect for our deck. But for sure, I think that's gonna be either a staple once it's released, or something you can just tech, you know. Not everyone will like it, but I think it's more so going to be a staple, because assuming this doesn't get hit and this stays at 3, the teleports, then I think it should be fine main decked, because you have 3 of these. It's just insane. And something you can also consider is playing enemy controller. Enemy controller tribute the Psychic Rover, take control something, effective Rover, bring it back, pop 2 cards, you know, like little things like that. It's not bad. It's pretty cool things to do. But anyways, that's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.